All right. Shalom, Yasharala. I give infinite honors to my Heavenly Father, my great King, Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushua by Hashem, Harakakadash. Double honors to my elder apostles and other bishops of Great Millstone, and salutation to my fellow laborers in the Mashak, Yahushua puts in beloved doctrine across the four winds. Shalom. All right, this clip, man, I was the other day looking at this clip with this guy from Sakar, and you know, he got the debate spirit on him. And what's going on with this debate spirit, the Lord is using it to show how off he is, because like when the Lord say he set us up to be defenders of the gospel, all right, he set us up. If we're teaching the word and somebody come up with an off doctrine, and we'll rightly divide that word of truth, and after the first and second admonishment, we tell them to have a nice day, go on about your business. But these guys, they've made a sport out of debating the scriptures. And Paul wrote and said, don't deal with all those stupid questions, any endless genealogies and sciences, so-called. You know, we don't do that. Now, sometimes, like when you're out there prophesying, somebody come with the Christian dogma, if you feel they sincere or you feel edification to come on the camera, yeah, you'll break it down accurately. But to just sit here and go back and forth, all right, you're not edifying that person. That person's trying to edify you. You're not getting off your square. They're not getting off their square. That's a waste of time, okay? Now, I looked at it, and I was kind of entertained. And dude was running circles around this Christian, okay? But something came up, and he went completely off. And I think it has other people that believe this nonsense. And that's why we do these videos, you know, for correction videos for sincere brothers that might believe that this nonsense. And I'm about to play the clip and funnel it through the scriptures.
Cannot defile. Defile means to make Levitically unclean. So it cannot, there's nothing that can.
So Jesus came and changed the law.
Now, he was debating his Christians, and Christians, these wacky Christians, they just need to give it up. They just drunk off their white supremacy, slave plantation doctrine. And when they come up, even against this guy, he's off. But when they come up against Israelite camps, they look bad. They're totally of a reprobate, bugged out spirit. But I was looking at this priest, Hakai, deacon, whatever the fuck he called himself, and he went off just like the goddamn Christian, man.
Jesus changed the law before his death, burial, and resurrection.
Brother, do you believe what you read right here? Because I believe what I can read in Mark 7:18.
I disagree with your understanding of the text, because what you're saying is Jesus Christ came to do away with the laws before he even got on the cross. Is that what you're saying? Yes or no?
Was it a sin to eat pig before the Mosaic law?
No.
Okay, whoa. So then what this is what I'm saying.
Whoa. That's he's supposed to know that. What did our Lord tell Nicodemus? All right, he around here calling himself a priest and a pastor. He say, our Lord told Nicodemus, you're a teacher of the law and you don't know these things? Okay, let me play that little part again. He said, no. He said, before the law of Moses was written on tables of stone, all of the men of the Lord, the prophets before, didn't have a law. They could basically eat pork.
Defile means to make Levitically unclean. So it cannot, there's nothing.
Jesus did away with the dietary law, but in Matthew 5, he said he's not.
Was it a sin to eat pig before the Mosaic law?
No.
Okay, so then what this is what I'm saying. All you got to do is look at the context.
Yes, it was. It was a sin. Sin came in through the world through Eve, all right? Sin was here. What is sin? I mean, this is basic basic scriptures, all right? This is basic scriptures, man. And that's why I say these guys, they be like they're so deep so they become fools, all right? What is this 1 John 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. And what does this say? Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is transgression of the law. Okay. Now let's see what Paul had to say about Adam and Eve. Okay. Did they sin in the garden? For you to sin, I mean, you have to have what? The commandments. Okay. Let's go down to 1 Timothy, the 2nd chapter. All right. This is 1 Timothy 2. And I'm going to go straight down to the point. All right. 1 Timothy 2:13. For Adam was formed, then Eve. All right. Now, so we're exclusively talking about the Garden of Eden. All right. When we were in that garden eastward in Eden, Eden was the whole earth. All right. AKA Pangea. And eastward in Eden was Jerusalem. Okay. We've always been, even before we were called Israelites, we were called the sons of the power. Okay. Their holy lineage, their holy line. All right. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. So how can she sin if she didn't have the law? All right. How could she sin if she didn't have the law? Okay. And that's why it's imperative to always go to a great millstone camp, man. And just, great millstone is the men that just has the proper doctrine. If you got other people out there with the proper doctrine, long as you have the doctrine, but for the most part is the men of great millstone and their affiliates. All right, let's get something else. This is Galatians chapter 1, verse 14. When the Lord put the sons of God in flesh, He always gave us that law. It was just sent down to us orally. All right. This is Galatians chapter 1. All right, verse 14. I'm gonna start at 13 though. For you have heard my conversation in past in the Jews' religion, how that beyond measure I persecuted the church of Yahweh by Shema Shai and wasted it, and profited in the Jews' original religion above my equals in my own action, being more exceeding zealous of the traditions of my father. All right, now this is what you got to understand about traditions. Traditions are sent down orally for the most part. Okay, and our traditions of the Israelites was keeping the commandments, man. All right, keeping those ordinances that was given to us in the beginning. We're gonna go into that word tradition in Galatians 1:14. Okay. Let's see what that word tradition come back with. All right, it's the Greek word. Let me play it.
Strong's G 3862. Paradosis.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna get straight to the point. Okay. And it says, a giving over which is done by word of mouth or in writing. All right. So what's the first thing the Lord did when he created the nation of Israel, the sons of God, when he put them in power? He gave them ordinances. We're gonna get into it. I'm gonna prove through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai that he gave us laws and order. He gave us ordinance, a code of ethics we had to follow. Tradition by instruction. He gave us instructions, narrative, precepts, etc. And he did this. The first thing he did when he created men. All right. Objectively, that which is delivered, the substance of teaching. All right. Now, the nation Israel, before we would call Israelites, we would call sons of the power. And guess what? We had these oral teachings. All right. We had the traditions that was given to us by our fathers from the beginning. Okay. Of the body of precept, especially ritual, which is the opinion of later Jews, were orally delivered by Moses and orally transmitted in unbroken succession to subsequent generations. But this is what you got to understand. It went like when you go to Luke, the 3rd chapter, when it gives the generation of Yahushua all the way up to Adam. Okay, that oral law was sent down to all generations. We always had it. All right. Did we were Salakia, which were precepts both illustrating and expanding written law, as they did were to be obeyed with equal reverences. So why do we have the first death? Our Lord is not going to kill. Hold up. Adam, what hast thou done? Okay, hold up. The Lord is not going to drown the earth. All right, the Lord is not going to judge us without giving us commandments to follow. All right, I don't beat my son. When I say beat, I don't discipline my son if I haven't gave him orders to follow. I discipline my son when I tell him to do something and he doesn't do it. Okay, this is what am I looking for? I need second Ezra. All right, here we go. This second Ezra, chapter 7. All right, verse 48. All right. Now this goes hand in hand. All right, with when he say Eve was in the transgression. Okay, this is in the beginning. What is a transgression? All right, what is sin? Transgression of the law. All right, and this is what the beloved brother Ezra said when he was talking to the Lord. O thou Adam, what hast thou done? What is he asking Adam has thou done? All right, Adam transgressed. The Adamites, those sons of God, went off in the garden, and what did it do? It took that immortality away from us. All right, it took that virtue we had, that dominance of the planet Earth. All right, and that's why we're in this lower state. All right, that's what Ezra started to understand why we was in the condition, why the Persians was ruling over us, why the Babylonians was ruling over us. It was because we went out, because we transgressed. So when it started clicking with Ezra, he was like, Adam, what the fuck you done, brother? Okay. Now, how could Adam do something if he didn't have a legislation, or order, rules and regulations to follow? The Lord wouldn't have did him nothing. All right. He said, oh, Adam, what hast thou done? What did Adam do? He transgressed the law. All right. For though it was thou that sinned, he said, for though it was thou that sinned. All right. So sin was going on in the beginning. You had prophets in the beginning. We're going to get into that. All right. Thou art not fallen alone, but we all that come of thee. All right. That whole holy line. Okay. When we fell, the whole nation fell. Okay. And what did the book of Psalms say? We were once gods, but now what? We die like men. What is the wages of sin? Death. Before that, we were immortals. All right. For what profit it is unto us that if there be promised to us an immortal time. We had an immortal technique in the garden. Everything was perfected. All right. We were perfect. We didn't know what sin was. We got acquainted with death when we went off. We let those Edomites, they were there. The same spirit that endowed Cain, endowed them. All right, that's Cain. The Edomites is them damn niggas that was in the garden in reincarnation. Whereas we have done the works to bring death. What works bring death? Transgression of the law. Yes. All right. We had those laws from the beginning. All right. They were set down traditionally, orally. Okay. Because where there's no law, there's no transgression. Let's get that. He said, Adam, thou hast sinned. So for him to have sinned, what did he have? Let me get that Romans. I need Romans. Chapter 5. We'll go down to verse 13. And it reads, for until the law, sin was in the world. All right. And When we was given the law? When was the world created? In the beginning. In the beginning. All right. We had this law in the beginning. But sin is not imputed where there is no law. So Adam couldn't have sinned if it wasn't no law. Nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses. So that means Adam had the law, man. What is this guy talking about? He just vain jangling. And he should know this. Being a priest, a deacon. But this is what happened. The Lord, when you get prideful and haughty, those seducing spirits get on you. And the next thing you know, you going out of the way. I think he knows that. And if he don't know it, the Lord then took the spirit he had all the way. Well, it's been taken away from him. These guys, the things they teach. All right. Even over them that had not sinned after the similitude of Adam's transgression. The Lord say Adam's transgress. There's no law where there's no law, there's no transgression. So Adam had the law, who is the figure of him that was to come. That first Adam, and you know, if you can receive it, that was Yahweh Shah, the first Adam. All right. Sin came in the world through him, and we're going to get delivered through him. Okay. There's more. There's more. Okay. The show in the garden, man. All right. We had laws, order. We were perfect until we wasn't perfect anymore. Okay. When we fell, we sinned. All right. This is Genesis, the 3rd chapter. And I'm going to get straight to the point. All right. This is Genesis 3 and 9. And the Lord thy power called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself. Okay. So, you know what? Let's see why did he hide himself. Let me go to the previous verse. He say, because the Lord about to ask him, how did you know you was naked? Okay. Let me go to chapter 2 right fast. That was the first time they went off. All right. This is Genesis 2 and 24. Therefore shall a man leave his mother and his father and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. That's the law right there. That's the law. That's the law, man. A father gives his son, a wife go pays a dowry. All right. He leaves his father and his mother. The father pays a dowry. Hey, and that's the law. That's the law of Moses right there in the beginning. Okay. And they were both naked. That's the point. And man and his wife. All right. The that covenant of marriage is the law. Okay. That's the law right there in the beginning. And they were not ashamed. Now, why weren't they ashamed? All right, because this is before they transgress. All right. When you're ashamed, that means you're going off, you're living in sin. All right. They were naked here, but they wasn't ashamed because they didn't go off. But when you go over here to chapter 3, when you go to chapter 3 and 9, what does Adam tell? And these are the prophets, man, that was in the garden. Okay. And the Lord thy power called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden. We're going to go into that voice too. And I was afraid because I was naked and hid myself. But in chapter 2, it said he was naked and wasn't ashamed. So why did he hid himself? Because he transgressed the law. And he said, who told thee that thou was naked? All right. The only reason he knew he was naked, because now he got acquainted with sin. All right. What did the beloved King Solomon say? He wanted to learn about sin the other side. So he gave himself to learn madness. Okay. All right. That's the same thing went on with Adam in the beginning, man. Okay. He knew he was naked because he started indulging in other philosophies. Hast thou eaten of the tree which I commanded thee that thou should not eat? And that we know that's not a literal tree. Have you dealt with these nation of people I told you have nothing to do with? These wicked niggas over there? Yes, that's what he did. Okay. Now let me go to the blue letter to prove it had prophets in the garden. One of my brothers supposed to be in here. He got this in his medulla. Talk to me. All right. Yeah, let me go back to Genesis 3. Okay. Now let's go to 3 and 9. All right. And they heard the voice of the powers, that's what it really should say, walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves in the presence of the Lord amongst the trees of the garden. Okay. Now let's see what that voice is. Okay. All right. That's the Hebrew word.
Strong's H, 6963. Coal. Coal.
Cold. All right. And what does the voice of the Lord do? The voice of the Lord enlightens us. It corrects us. It rebukes us. It reproves us. Okay. And who is the voice of the Lord? His servants, the prophets. Okay. Voice, noun, sound of instrument, lightness. All right. Sound of instrument, lightness, for vividly. Okay. Okay. Now, let me get a precept to show who the Lord's voice is. Okay. Who is the voice of the Lord? It's his servants, the prophets. All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 5. Go straight to the point, 14. And it reads, wherefore thus saith the Yahweh thy power of hosts, because you speak this word, all right, because you speak this word, who is he talking to? His servant, the prophet, Jeremiah. Behold, I will make thy word, make my words, see, though that's the Lord's words, in thy mouth fire. All right. That voice in the garden that the Adamites was running from were the prophets coming to correct him. It was like, man, how you know you naked, man? How you know you naked? How you know you naked, brother? Who told you was naked? Okay. They knew he went off, so they came to rebuke him and reprove him. Okay. And this people would, and it shall devour them. And that's what was going on with Adam in the beginning when they started going off. All right. He knew that he had sinned. He knew he had violated the Lord's law that was there from the beginning. Okay. There's more. All right. Let me go back a little bit. Bear with me. I'll get that in the cool of the day. All right. Now let me get that word in the cool. In the cool. Let's see what that comes back.
Strong's H, 7307. Ruach. Ruach.
Let's talk about the spirit. All right. Who does the spirit dwell in? The Lord's servants, the prophets. What does the spirit do? It tells us how to conduct ourselves. Okay. Wind, breath, mind, spirit. So when they say the Lord was walking in the garden in the cool of the day, this was the prophets. All right. And what is the prophet set up to do? Correct us, guide us. All right. Reprove us. All right. That breath is what? The Lord's spirit, the truth, the Lord's wisdom. Okay. I'm going to go down straight to the point. Okay. All right. I'm going to go down to number 6, spirit, a seat or organ of mental acts. All right. What mental acts? All right. So this just wasn't a voice, a seat of organ of mental acts. All right. What act did Adam commit in the garden? He transgressed the law. All right. You sin in your mind before you sin physically. Okay. All right. As a seat, especially of moral character. What makes us moral? What makes us holy? What makes us set apart? The law, statutes, commandments, Yahweh, Shema, Shah. We had them in the beginning, man. Okay. Okay. There's more. Verse number 7, the spirit of Yahweh, the third person of the triune power, the Holy Spirit, co-equal, co-eternal with the Father and the Son, as inspiring, as inspiring a static state of prophecy. The prophets were there in the beginning. That's who Adam and Eve, the Adamites, was hiding from in the cool of the day. That's who they was hiding from, talking about they was naked. They was hiding from the prophets in the garden, telling them they went off. And impelling prophet to order, instruction, or warning. All right. So when they say the Lord thy power was walking in the garden in the cool of the day, all right, we all know that's talking about the Elohim, and the Lord puts his words, all right, in his servants, the prophets, man, in his powers, all right. And they were the ones correcting that, okay, the Adamites, because that was we went off as a nation, but it started off with our great king who was Adam, okay. But they say the prophets that utter instruction and warning, okay. So what is this guy talking about? All right. I'm gonna read it again. An empowering prophet to utter instruction or warning. All right. So what are you instructing the nation of Israel with? The commandments. All right. Telling them how to keep the commandments. All right. Telling them how to preside over their households, their families. All right. The Lord always set up men to guide us, to teach us. Okay. All right. Let me get something else there too. Because he said, didn't I tell you not to deal with the other trees in the garden? Okay. To let you know that wasn't talking about literal trees. It was men in the garden doing all these things. These dynamics was happening with men. All right. The correction came from holy men, and the seducing spirit was wicked men. All right. This is Mark 8. Go straight to the point. 8 and how wish I healed that guy. Bear with me. All right. And 24. All right. This is Mark 8 and 24. I'm gonna start at 23. He took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes, he put his hands upon him and he asked him if he saw aught. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking. Right. So those people that was walking in the garden, all right, in the cool of the day, those were the prophets. All right. Those men are trees. When he say, have I told you, have you dealt with the other trees in the garden? Those was men. These were nations of men. And the men that were doing the correcting was the prophets. And for you to correct somebody, what do you got to have? You got to have ordinances. You got to have laws. All right. You got to have laws in order. So what is this guy talking about? Play it one more time. What is he talking about?
I believe what I can read in Mark 7:18.
I disagree with your understanding of the text, because what you're saying is Jesus Christ came to do away with the laws before he even got on the cross. Is that what you're saying? Yes or no?
Was it a sin to eat pig before the Mosaic law?
No.
Okay, so then what?
You see, and that's why we say go to Great Millstone through the Spirit and power. How about Shema Shai? All right.
This is what I'm saying.
You have the proper doctrine. This is why you got to go to the servants of Yahweh Shema Shai, preferably the men of Great Millstone and their affiliates. Okay. You know what? Hold up. Let me see what I'm gonna get next. Okay. Yeah. All right. So he said before Moses, we didn't have a law, and you wasn't going off if you ate pork. All right. Now we went through a plethora already. All right, but this is what we set up to do, man. Cut down these fallacies, these off doctrines, man. This is Luke. All right. In the beginning, we had laws and order. All right. This is the book of Luke. chapter 1. Go straight to the point, verse 70. All right. I'm going to start at 69. I'm going to start at 68. Blessed be Yahweh, the power of Yasharallah, right? And what does Yasharallah mean? All right, he is a son of the power. All right. Now, before we would call Israelites, what would we call? We would call sons of God. All right, up in the garden. Okay. For he have visited and redeemed his people. Why did he have to redeem his people? Because we went off since the garden. Since the garden. All right. Well, the Lord put us out of our sight when we transgressed his law from the beginning. And he raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. Talking about our great king. As he smote by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. Since what world began? The sons of the power. From Luke, let me show you what world since the world began. All right. Let's see what world are we talking about. We already here. Should be at somewhere. I could just go over two chapters. All right, since this world began. Okay. This holy line that you read right here. All right. Okay. You go to Luke 3:38, from Adam, which was the son of God. That's what we were called, the sons of God. Adam is the one that went off. And you go all the way up to Seth, Caleb, all right, Enoch, Arphax, Eber, all right, that's where the word Hebrew is derived from. And you go all the way up to our great king Yahushua. Okay. That's what that's the world he's talking about at the beginning. What did he say? The prophets have been here since the beginning. Let's prove it. I can prove it. All right. We just proved that they had prophets in the garden, but let's get a little bit more thorough. All right. This is the book of Jude. This is the book of Jude. Chapter 1. We'll go straight to the point. Verse 14. All right. And Enoch, also the seventh from Adam, prophesied of this, saying, behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000 of his saints. So Enoch is the seventh from Adam. All right. He's right there in the beginning. That's way before the law of Moses. That's thousands of years before we went to Egypt. And what did it say? He prophesied of these things, man. Okay. Got another precept to bag that up, man. This is the book of Zechariah. First chapter. Okay. We'll start at verse 4. Zechariah 1 and 4. Be ye not as your fathers, unto whom be not as your fathers. Salaki, be not as your fathers, unto whom the former prophets have cried. And the former prophets was crying way back in the garden. When Adam and Eve went off, the prophets were the ones that gave them their judgment. Okay. The prophets were the ones that gave those sons of the wicked their judgment. Okay, saying, thus saith the Lord of hosts, turn ye now from your evil ways. All right. And what did it say? Enoch, the seventh from Adam, he was prophesying, telling us to turn from our ways, that the Lord is coming back with 10,000 of his angels to get us out of that condition, man. Okay. And from your evil doings, but they did not hear nor hearken unto me, saith the Lord. For your fathers, where are they? And the prophets, do they live forever? Yes, the prophets live forever. The prophets are subject to the prophets, and they've been here ever since we went off in the beginning. All right. The Lord used men, all right, and set up men way from the beginning to institute order in the nation of Israel. Okay. The prophets live forever. But my words and my statutes, what I commanded my servants, the prophets, and when did this happen? From the beginning. Did they not take hold of your fathers? All right. Did they not correct Adam in the garden? Who told you that thou were naked? All right. And they returned and said, like as the Lord of hosts thought to do unto us, according to our ways and according to the doings, so he dealt with us. Let me get something to back that up. This is Sirach, to show you the prophets live forever when they've been here ever since the beginning. All right. And we had laws and order from the beginning. It was just given down orally. All right. When no Enoch, the seventh from Adam, wasn't eating no pork. Okay. How he gonna correct somebody when he transgressing himself? All right. This I read 36 and 11. All right. Gather all the tribes of Jacob together and inherit them as from the beginning. All right. Who's gathering all the tribes of Jacob together? The Lord has raised up his prophets to do this thing. And inherit thou them as from the beginning. In the beginning, we had laws and order. Okay? O Lord, have mercy on the people that is called by thy name, upon Israel, whom thou hast named thy firstborn. All right? And he named us his firstborn in the garden, man. O merciful unto Jerusalem, the holy city, the place of thy rest. Eastward in Eden is Jerusalem. All right. Fill Zion with those unspeakable oracles. We had those oracles. What did it say? Enoch prophesied of these things, the seventh from Adam, man. He had these unspeakable oracles. The prophets. Ain't no prophet transgressing the law and serving the Lord. All right. Back then they were called seers, man. And thy people with thy glory. Give testimony to those who thou hast possessed from the beginning. So if he possessed us from the beginning, he didn't tell us the difference between right and wrong. All right. How can Adam sin where there's no law, there's no transgression? How can he be called a sinner? The Lord possessed us from the beginning because he gave us laws and order and raised up prophets that have been in thy name. The prophets were in the garden, man. We had laws and order in the garden. Let me bag that up. All right, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 1. Go straight to the point. Verse 26. And Yahweh said, let us make man in our image. All right. Now, when you look in this word image, all right, this ain't talking about let man look how we look. No, that image and after our likeness. All right. When you go to Matthew, the 6th chapter, and it talks about the Lord's Prayer, it said, as it is in heaven, let it be on earth. What goes on in the heavens? It's perfect, harmonious order. So like it is in heaven, let's give them laws, let's give them order. All right. Let's show them how to live. All right. So when the first thing the Lord did when he created man in his image, he gave us laws, he gave us order, he gave us a code of ethics to live by right here in the beginning. This is the only reason Adam was able to sin, because the Lord had put his laws in them. All right. He just gave it down traditionally and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowls of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth and the creeping thing that come up on the earth. So created man in his image. All right. And that image goes, he gave us order. All right. He gave us laws. He gave us commandments. And the image of Yahweh, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Okay. From the beginning. And we were immortal. Let me get that. Let's bag that up. It was only one reason we were immortal. Okay. The wages of sin is death. That's why we started dying. So what kept us immortal? Why were we immortal? This is Sirach, chapter 19. I'm gonna go to verse 19. Okay. The knowledge of the commandments of Yahweh Shema Shai is the doctrine of life. And they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the trees of immortality. We were immortals because we never went off. We had commandments. We had commandments. Methuselah was living 900 a full day because we had the commandments. All right. We started descending into oblivion when we kept going off. All right. From Adam to Noah, man, that was a long time. We just thought we kept descending into oblivion. All right. But before the fall, man, we were perfected, man. We were perfect. That's why we say we're trying to get back to Eden, trying to get back into that estate that we once in. All right. And we had the commandments. That's why we were perfect. Okay. Let's see what the Lord said about these commandments. All right. We just said you're immortal when you don't. You're an immortal when you don't transgress the law. And these earthen vessels, this damn weak flesh is prone to error. It's weak. It's feeble. That's why we need the Holy Spirit to keep us. This is Romans chapter 7, verse 7. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? Yahweh forbid. Okay? And without the law, there is no sin. So for Adam to sin, he had to have the law in the beginning. Nay, I had not known sin but by the law. For I had not known lust except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. And when you keep that law and you don't transgress it, okay, you're going to be an immortal. And that's what we're going to do when we get those new bodies. Let me go down to verse 12. Wherefore the law is holy. So the law going to take something that's holy away from us. These Christians are whacking, man. And that Deacon Hassai, whoever the fuck he is, man, he a reprobate spirit. All right. Wherefore the law is holy and the commandment holy, just and good. Okay. And it's been here since the beginning, man. We've had these code of ethics, this way of life from the beginning. We're going to have it all the way in the kingdom, according to Jeremiah 31 and 31. It's going to be renting our inward man where we can't go off. Okay. And I'm going to leave off on this one. I think I got the point across. All right. This is Jeremiah chapter 6 and 16. All right. This is what it says. Aforetime written. Thus saith Yahweh, stand ye in the ways and see. Ask for the old paths. What was the old paths? That image that the Lord gave us in the beginning. That's the old paths. He said, I'm going to make man in my likeness. We make man in my image. That's what the powers were saying. Okay. All right. That's those old paths. Those paths that lead to what? Immortality. He that get the tree of the commandments, what I just read in Sirach 19 and 19, he shall be immortal. Okay. The corrupt shall take off incorruption, and we're going to be immortals. 1 Corinthians, what that is, the 15th chapter. Okay. Where is the good way? And walk therein, and you shall find rest for your souls. See, this isn't our rest. That rest for our souls is going to be when we be back like we were in Eden, that immortal state where we wasn't going off. But it said they were naked and wasn't ashamed. That means they hadn't sinned. They were perfect. Okay. But they said we would not walk therein. All right. Also, I said watchmen over you. You had watchmen over us in the garden. That's why Adam hid himself. He had prophets in the garden. Men of order, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet, but they say we will not hearken. And as the nation of Israel do to this day. As they do to this day, man. Shalom, brother. Yabba Shema Shabrakatah. All right. This is Luke 10:16. The beloved brother Kayat. He that heareth you, heareth me, and he that despiseth you, despiseth me. He that despiseth me, despiseth him that sent me. That's what we just said in Jeremiah 6. All right. They say they will walk not therein, but the elect will. The elect is obtaining this thing, man. They listening. They taking heed. All right. Yeah, and I bought that one out, brother. This is the brother that taught me this. Luke 1:7. As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. All right. Come, brother. Come, all right. Yeah, so man, and that's what the Lord has set up the brothers to do. Okay. Yeah, let me get that. I'm gonna get that one. Yeah, I should have bought that one out. All right. This Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 15. All right. Yes, brother. I'm going to start at 14. For he created all things that they might have their being. All right. When he created the sons of God, man, he gave us order. He gave us laws, man. All right. He gave us a government system to govern ourselves. And then what did he say? He said, tend to the garden. So he gave us the authority to govern the whole planet Earth, man. All right. Because he gave us dominion over the fish of the sea. He put the man in the garden to tend to the garden, to rule. All right. We're supposed to be ruling and making sure everybody is keeping this image, this likeness that the Lord gave us, this order. All right. And the generations of the world were helpful. That's yes, brother. That's before we knew we were naked. We were perfect. We were perfect. And the reason we were perfect, we had commandments to follow. And there is no poison of destruction in them. All right. And what is that poison? And whenever you transgress the law, you're corrupt. You become polluted. Nor the kingdom of death upon the earth. That's a good one, okay? For righteousness is immortal. And we were immortals before we fell. And the only way you can be an immortal is you have to have the commandments. There's no such thing as being immortal, but you're not living according to the Lord's code of ethics, his commandments he gave us. But ungodly men with their works and world called it to them. All right. So when we became ungodly, when we transgressed in the garden, man, when we fell. All right. The book of Isaiah say we all went backwards, man. Okay. For when they thought to have their friend, they consumed to naught. And then we lost that immortal technique we had. All right. We wasn't getting sick, man. We was living a full day. We was having hundreds of kids back then, man. Methuselah lived 900 some years, man. Okay. And made a covenant with it. And it made a covenant with death because they are worthy to take part with it. All right. When you living a life of sin, you're going off. And I'm going to tell you something else. When you teaching his word the wrong way, all right, the Lord going to judge your ass first. All right. Told you was naked. It's a headbang. Yes, brother. Yes. Come, brother. The only way you could be naked, let me get something about that. The only way you could be naked, because he told that to the church too. In Revelation. The only way you could be naked, you got to be an enmity with the Lord. Revelation chapter 3, and that was the prophet. Who told you were naked? Because we weren't supposed to know what sin was. All right. We're not going to know what sin is in the kingdom. We're not going to go off. All right. Our children are not going to go off. When you go to Romans, the 11th chapter, say, and all of Israel will eventually be saved. All right. They're going to come through that second resurrection, man. All right. And they're not going to sin. This is Revelation 3:15. I know thy works, and thou art neither cold nor hot. I would that thou were cold or hot. And that's talking about men that got this knowledge and playing with it. All right. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Because thou said, I am increased with goods. This how carnal men think. All right. They think godliness is gain. They think because they got resources and a lot of surplus, they think the Lord dealing with them and have need of nothing. All right. And in the book of Timothy, they say men that think like that will draw thyself. The Lord told us don't have nothing to do with men with that carnal mindset. And know us not that thou art wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked. You're going off. All right. When the Lord say you're wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked, you're teaching something you ain't supposed to be teaching, and you're doing things you shouldn't be doing. I counsel thee to buy me gold tried in the fire. What is this gold? This wisdom, this knowledge, this understanding. That's that gold. All right. That's that gold, man. This doctrine. All right. That thou mayest be rich. All right. And this is what makes us rich. Sound doctrine. When you live according to it. And white raiment. And then what is that white raiment? That's what they had in the Garden of Eden before they fell. That white represents they were pure. They never went off. Okay. And thou mayest be clothed, and the shame of thy nakedness do not appear. All right. All of the sins you've committed in this body. All right. Our great King, he's going to cover you with his word, his blood. He's going to remember your sins no more. All right. And you won't have a reason to be shameful like we were in the garden. But the only way you could be shameful where there's no law, there's no transgression. That means we had to have the commandments in the beginning. and anoint thyself with eye salve that thou mayest see. And that's what we have in this final hour. Abaratazah, the Lord keep us, that eye salve is this truth, man. All right. That's why we could see. That's why we could we know we're in the final hour. That's why we fearing and trembling, man. Yeah, as a person, I come. Yeah, it was people, it was prophets, man. Yes, brother. So with that, I don't want Ratazah. This was edifying to the hearers. I'm gonna give infinite honors to my heavenly Father, my great King, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Harakar Kadash. Double honors to my elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone. And salutation to my fellow laborers in the Mashak Yahushai. Kwam Yasharala, Abba Baal. Shalom. I'm about to hit you up, all right?